Hey everyone, welcome to this week's Local Marketing Institute office hours session with me, Jason Brown, and Ben Fisher. Hey guys.
Hey, happy Friday,
Hey.
everybody.
Happy Friday. We're very excited to do this session today. A couple little notes here as we dive into this. I wanted to make sure you guys all had both Ben and Jason's contact information. You can find Ben at steadydemand.com and the social dude on Twitter. And you can find Jason at reviewfraud.org and at Kaiser Holiday on Twitter. Also want to let you know if you want to get a hold of me or anything we're doing, I'm Local Marketing Institute here. And so would encourage you to localmarketinginstitute.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. You could subscribe to our podcast, which is fantastic. And you can also join the Local Marketing Institute Connect Facebook group. And all three of us, and plus a host of other amazing local marketing experts, are out there. So I wanted to just do that real quickly, get into the introduction here. I did, however, want to let you guys know our special guest today was going to be Lily Ray. Lily Ray is an amazing SEO expert out there and just really well known, well loved in the community. However, for those of you who may not know, Hamlet Batista is a very well-known, well-respected, well-liked person in the SEO community out there, and he passed away very recently. And so Lily was very close friends with Hamlet, and she contacted me early this morning and just said, hey, I just don't feel comfortable coming on and doing a big Q&A session right now. I mean, she's still mourning Hamlet's passing here, but she wrote a very, very moving tribute to Hamlet out at Search Engine Journal. We'll include that link in the archive here for you guys if you want to read it, but just go check that out. She's also sort of a fundraiser for Hamlet's family out here at GoFundMe, and we'll put that link out there as well. So if we're thinking about you guys, keep Hamlet's family in your thoughts and prayers, even if you don't know him, and keep Lily there as well. And we're certainly looking forward to having Lily back here sometime in a future session. So little sad note to start this off with, as Hamlet was kind of well loved in this community. Ben, Jason, anything you guys want to add to that before we jump in?
I knew Hamlet for about 10 years, and he was the founder of RankSense. And, he wouldn't want us to be sad. He would want us to celebrate his life. And he was an amazing person, caring, very soulful. So, he touched a lot of people's lives in the SEO community. So just sudden passing, and it's very shocking. But, he was a great guy.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's dive in, though. We do have a bunch of questions that folks have submitted to us, and we want to try to get to, take advantage of us and get as many as we can. Even though you guys are stuck with just the three of us and not the amazing Lily Ray, we will do our best to do her proud in today's session. Ben, I think you wanted to share a quick update about a new change about the ability to challenge user submitted edits on GMB.
Yeah. So basically what it is, and shout out to Amy Toman on this one. She was the one who discovered it, and it's a slow roll. It's not quite at 100%. I'd say it's probably more like 80%, something like that. But basically, when you go on and you suggest an edit, say, we've got, Eric Schanfeld's Pizza Shop, the best pizza shop in the entire world, but it's actually Eric Schanfeld's Pizza Shop. And you suggest an edit and you get this annoying, frustrating, not applied. Even when the logo doesn't match and the copyright doesn't match, and you can tell it's totally keyword stuffed. That's all machine learning that goes behind it. So what they've introduced now is the ability to send feedback. We don't know if that's going to be probably reviewed by a human being. More than likely it would be, you would think. But this is great because now you actually do have another way to communicate Google and challenge basically something that may or may be very against their terms, basically against the guidelines. So,
Jason, any thoughts from you on this?
Yeah, I don't have it yet, so I'm kind of shocked that the best spam fighter in the world is missing it. But no, I think anything that we can do to train the system and get stuff done, is great. It's going to be curious to see what kind of an impact this actually has. So I guess with everything, we have to test it and wait and take that wait and see approach. So, I mean, yeah, so I'll be curious to see, what happens with Amy hitting the send edit feedback of, what she gets. I want to know what the workflow is. Do you get an email after the fact, or, how long does it take? So.
Okay. All right. Well, it'll be interesting to see how this one pans out, but at least, hey, it's another feedback mechanism for businesses to help manage their data.
And for budding spam fighters and local SEOs, I mean, this sending edit feedback is a pretty big deal for the most part, because most people feel like their edits are useless and a waste of time, whereas Google does actually use them a lot. So
makes sense. I think we also want to talk about that. There was Jason, you had an update on flagging Google My Business reviews that you wanted to do?
Yeah. So we just Ben and I got to have a hangout with the Gmb team, and so there's stuff about it that's part of the NDA that we're not going to be able to get into. But what we can get into is basically this was just a UI interface update for merchants, just to make it easier for people to know how to appropriately flag reviews. Because I think the questions we always get, is people are like, well, I've got this negative review, but what do I flag it as? Like, we don't understand, which terminology, like, is it off topic, not related to this business? So I think this is going to make it a lot easier for merchants to actually go in there and know how to flag a review, because now you actually have some better options. But that's basically the short and skinny of it. An easier way for you to flag a review, as we can probably see if you're part of the LMI, group. I got to good news, I got to test it. Bad news, I got to test it. A business was actually being bullied. We flagged it. Google came back and said, sorry, Charlie, this review doesn't, violate our terms of service. I had to go and kick it over to support and get the team to actually look at the review, and they ended up taking it down. So.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like Jason said, it's more of a UI thing and a clarification thing. And it's one of the things that we PEs, product experts, really stress to Gmb whenever we talk to them directly, which is like every week. And that is that, needing to be more transparent, more communicative, very clear, or much clearer, and hopefully, who knows, we might even see some examples of reviews that they want to show us, like, what is defamatory? What is bullying? That would be nice. It's in the guidelines for, Gmb listings, so it'd be nice for reviews too.
Yeah, and if you aren't familiar with it, folks, so this is kind of Google's guidelines on prohibited and restricted content on Google Maps, e.g. Google My Business as well. So if you ever want to check that out, these are all the things that they say are, questionable content that could be removed, correct?
Yep.
Right. Okay. We'll share that link as well. John asked a really good question related to this. Ben, maybe you want to tackle this one first. Will the new interface for flagging reviews be extended to flagging spammy, unwanted photos left by users on a listing?
That's a good question. And the answer is, I do not know, but I think we can probably bring that up, Jace.
Oh, I'm already in the process.
In other words, it's not there yet, but it sounds like there's a lot of people who are kind of pushing to get that added to it as well, right?
Yeah, I mean, take a look at it from a larger perspective. If you look at the history of Gmb updates and as they occur, right, they will roll out one type of an update after they test it. And then that UI or that kind of methodology will start rolling out to other things that are extremely similar. So it's all about them testing. So all I can say is, if you like it, use it, abuse it in the right way, of course. And then, yes, that functionality may come to other aspects of Gmb.
And I just pass it along for you, John. So we'll send it directly to Google and let them know that people are asking for that. So.
Yep. Thanks, John.
Good deal. Good deal. So here's a good, interesting one. This one comes from, this was submitted in advance by Mary. It says, do I need to claim my Yelp page in order for Amazon devices to find me? I have my store info on Yelp. There's a few reviews and photos, but I'd rather not claim the listing, but I need to do it if I have to get my business listed on Alexa. I'll tackle this one if you guys don't mind here. First, let me dive into this one here real quick. So I brought this up, a little article that we did a while ago. We have a whole article on the Local Marketing Institute website about optimization for voice search, which is getting bigger out there. But I wanted to share with you briefly here when it comes to Yelp and Amazon. So let me blow this up a little bit here in a larger tab. This is kind of basically the voice search ecosystem. And you can see when you're talking about with like Amazon Alexa, Amazon does get its results from Yelp. Yext is also allowing you now to directly submit to Amazon's database of businesses out there. But for most businesses, Amazon's getting their local business data, the reviews and photos from Yelp. So bottom line is, yeah, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't be too worried about local business searches being done on Alexa, although it is getting more and more, especially as Alexa is getting integrated into even in-car voice assistant systems. I don't think it's more for discovery of new businesses, but certainly to find a business, to call them, or to find a business to get directions while someone's on the move. That's where I think it would be more important. So bottom line, yes, I do highly recommend that you do claim your Yelp listing, optimize it as much as you can. It is worthwhile to try to get a few reviews out there as well, because those reviews are syndicated obviously up through Amazon and its ranking. Those reviews are also syndicated out through Apple Maps, and it's also syndicated on Bing. And obviously that also powers Apple Siri voice assistants as well. So I think it's worthwhile. Jason, you got anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, definitely want to claim it. There's no reason not to claim it. If you get reviews, you're going to get notified that you have reviews, right? So, you're going to, and there's also chat features available where people can try to get quotes and communicate with you directly. So, it's another avenue for people to get you. If you're not claiming it and your data gets, updated incorrectly, you don't know, and that's not going to get, replicated out on multiple platforms. So like Eric says, it's feeding Yahoo, it's feeding Bing, it's feeding Apple Maps, MapQuest. So there's all sorts of places that your data is going out to. So, and it makes sense, to claim it, update your photos, make sure you optimize as best as possible. You cannot, and remember, and I can't stress this enough, you cannot ask for Yelp reviews. You will get flagged. But if you're in an industry where it works, you can ask your customers to post photos. If you have a brick and mortar, people can check in. You can have check-in offers, and then that helps to trigger people to leave reviews. So, look, it is a platform out there. It has some value to you. It may be diminishing for some niches, but if you've got it out there, claim it, monitor it, and use it. And don't be afraid of the Yelp salesy people wanting to sell you ads. But it's worth it.
And so on that point, Yelp will try to sell you as much stuff as they can. They are the GoDaddy of listings. So
the GoDaddy of listings. I like that.
Yeah, but they will try and upsell you on every single thing from your logo on down. We claimed ours for state demand just for the heck of it, and just like got somebody to, and didn't ask, but somebody left us a review there. So one thing I'll just say is that, come on, it takes 5 minutes literally to do this. Then you just have to, if you leave it bare bones. But the other thing is if you're a service area based business, you can get a Yelp listing and still hide your address. So that's advantageous too. So
yeah.
really the answer is why not?
Paul says yes, but GoDaddy doesn't call you, thank God.
Unfortunately,
they do.
Yes, they do.
I was going to say, I've been called by GoDaddy multiple times on that one. Andy on Facebook says, so many folks don't realize that they're not talking to Google when they ask Amazon or Siri. So I think that actually is important. It might be fun to dive a little deeper into voice search during some session. Again, we haven't done that for quite a while, but yeah, I mean, you've got when you're talking to Siri, you're getting pieces of Yelp along with Apple Maps Connect. And when you're talking to Alexa, you're getting stuff from Yelp unless it's been specifically submitted through Yext. So hopefully that helps answer that question. All right. Here's one, Ben, I'll let you tackle this one here. It says, how can I best optimize hotel details on Google My Business? Would sending out the same details to multiple travel websites for them to publish, would that help to have those details appear on my GMB page? If Google crawls the same content multiple times on different pages, would it help choose to display those details on the listing? So I think this is really about all optimizing the details information in your Google My Business listing for hotels.
That's a really good question. And my answer is going to be straight and to the point. And that is that you want to just reach out to Tim Capper of Online Ownership. He is as we like to call him, the Greg Gifford, or actually as Jason and I like to call him, the Greg Gifford of hotels. Tim is fantastic. He keeps up on hotels. He has a lot of hotel clients. Just reach out to him. He's a really great guy. We're probably going to have him on the show, Tim.
Yeah, Tim, if you're listening out there, we're absolutely inviting you to join us. So we will definitely try to get Tim on. We'll have a whole section, focusing more on the hotel space here. But yeah, I totally agree with you. Onlineownership.com. This is his website. Check him out. Tim really, he works in a lot of different verticals, but this is really one of the verticals where he's really well known in that particular vertical. So check that out. Even
though he has a G+ icon at the top of his page, we won't hold that against him.
Like, dude, Google Plus. It's a case of the college.
And he's also a Google My Business product expert alongside us too.
Of course,
he knows the ins and outs of GMB, and he's a great wealth of resource.
And ask him about his tabs.
Dude.
Just say, hey, dude, what's a tab? When do you do that? Ex-military right there. Well, it's interesting on that. All right, Jason, here's one for you. Is there any advantage to using a GMB's CID link on a website as opposed to, say, just the short name or standard share link? So I think what they're asking, if you would clarify what a CID link is, because I don't know if everybody knows what that is. I think they're asking, saying on my website, if I link to my Google My Business profile, there's several different kinds of links I could use. What link is the best one for me to use?
Yes, there's actually 3 you can use. So you can use your place ID, which is a series of letters and numbers. There's a CID, which is just a series of numbers. Or you can use that new, short name. Honestly, I switched everybody over to the CIDs and not the place ID, just to make things easier. I didn't do any tests with the short names, but short names also weren't out when I was working with this one nationwide franchise. And so since the fact that we moved everybody, we were very fortunate too. Like, we moved everybody away from Google Plus before Google Plus died. And so when we made that change and that switch, and then Google Plus died, I was very fortunate because I did not want to have to go back in there and have to update 500 websites, microsites for the franchise. There's a really great tool you can use. You can use the Gather Up Chrome extension. And when you are on your own GMB listing, if your knowledge panel clicks up, or if you click on and do the extended profile, you can get both the CID or the places ID and use it that way.
Got it. So
how much time do we have here? Because I have a lot to say about this.
Dive in a little bit, man. Dive in a little bit.
Okay, so there's a lot of nuance here. Number one, CID is the way to go. Okay, that's just the first thing.
More than short name, because Google's been pushing that short name a lot.
Yeah, I'll explain that. Okay. So the CID is literally it's unique to that listing, and it will carry on forever, basically. Okay. The place ID, that actually can change. So I have seen the same listing have multiple place IDs. Okay. So I've never used a place ID. Place IDs are meant for reviews, basically, in a sense, more than anything else, and for whatever the active live listing is. Again, the CID doesn't change. The other thing is with the short names. Now, I am a fan. I love short names. Short names, they bring you right to maps. You can do /review, and you can get solicit reviews that way very easily. And they're easy to put on things. So I also suggest using your short names, but use your short names on like media, or things like that, or in your emails, because the CIDs are ungodly long. It's like 25, 30 digits sometimes. And also, actually, I'm going to end it right there. That's my suggestion.
So I'll throw this out here. So I went ahead and I brought this up real quick, and thanks, Ben, for popping this to me in chat here. Jason also mentioned the Gather Up. I think it was the Gather Up Chrome extension. So I've got the Gather Up Chrome extension here, right? And I'm looking at my own Local Marketing Institute GMB listing here. When I click the Gather Up, there's my URL, right? So this is a cool little hack for you guys out there. You could find this other ways, but this is just the easiest way to do it. You click that right there, and there's the link to your Google My Business entity. And when you bring that up, and if you put that into your URL, that takes you right to here. And as you mentioned, Jason, this is kind of permanent. This will not change. Nothing happens. And this is different, obviously, than my short link that I have of LMI Daily, g.page/LMI Daily that I've created.
Yeah. And not to mention, it's like, again, I love the short names, but we never know what's going to end up happening with a Google feature.
Exactly. What if they decide to get rid of short names? Then all your links are messed up. So,
or what if your short name doesn't work and doesn't trigger your business, and instead it triggers a general Google search? Because we've seen that issue happen a lot too. And so, you're trying to be, GMB SEO, or local SEO, and you do that, and next thing you know, you get search results for just local SEO. So Google can't get those short names incorrect. Yeah.
The other thing about it too is you can change a short name 3 times a year, right? Which merch businesses do. They will change it. And so if you've got that link out there anywhere, it will break. And like Jason said, it'll just be a Google search at that point.
Good point. So then this is the other one that Jason, you were talking about, place ID.
Yeah.
And there's a alphanumeric string there. And this is what you were talking about, I think, with Ben, that if you use that specific URL and put that into and link to it, that's a great way to get people to go, boom, right to your listing and bring up a leave a review box. So it's just again, this is just
there can be multiple place IDs, so that can break too.
So this one could break too.
Oh yes.
But anyway.
And one little caveat, and I use the place ID when I'm going after, star only ratings, when I'm, flagging a bunch of, fake fraudulent reviews, because you can't, there's no share, right? When it's a 1 star. So once you click onto it and it shows the business above it, then you get that place ID. So then I can copy that place ID when I'm recording a review.
Sounds good. I'm sorry. I'm just laughing because I saw a comment come in. It says, it's always good to see that Ben is prepared for the zombie apocalypse. I think he's talking to your katanas back there and all that. At least you're not Pinky today.
That is correct.
Right?
Not Pinky. Got rid of the Pepto-Benzmol.
Pepto-Benzmo. Yeah, we got that one too. We had all kinds of names for a couple of weeks there. If you hadn't tuned in recently, Ben's had some color issues with his camera, and he was nice and pink. So Jason and I had lots of fun renaming him on Zoom all the time.
Yeah, but I'll give you a little trivia there. Okay, so if you like the sword rack, we actually should look in the corner over there. That's a horse killer. That thing is badass. Excuse my
gosh.
French.
Well, someday we'll have to get a little tour of that. Trisha did chime in here and said, I did have a client that had account issues and their short name was removed. It's a good thing. It'd be a good thing that then always use that place ID because you just never know.
No, CID, not the place ID.
I'm sorry, CID. That was my bad.
It's okay.
My bad on that one. All right. That was a more in-depth discussion I thought we'd get on CID and place ID and that. Okay, here's another one here. I'll tackle this one. It says, do I really need to update my business hours for holidays? And this is from Francine. It says, I get notifications from Google, Bing, and a ton of other listings telling me to update my business hours for upcoming holidays, and it's really annoying me. Do I really need to do this? Does it have any impact on my search rankings? So I want to let you guys tackle this first. Maybe JB, do you want to talk about, does this have an impact on your search ranking? And then I want to talk about other factors.
Both. No, it's not going to have any direct impact on your overall rankings. What it will have an impact on is if people are looking for your business and they click on your profile, they're going to get this little orange message that says, hey, it's a holiday. You better check this business prior to going. And so, yes, I mean, not every holiday you need to update for. Google, basically is covering every holiday in the books. If you're open and it's just, Valentine's Day, you don't need to put your special, you don't need to update it. But if it is a special holiday, there was a case where I actually went to Target on a holiday. They said that they were open. It was Easter, it didn't think Easter would be a holiday Target would be closed for, and they were closed. And imagine my disappointment when I just drove 10 minutes to the store that was closed, and then I had to go to another store. So it's great for user experience. Use it as much as possible. You can get that nasty little orange, message to disappear. Call this business before going. Because I think the last thing you want to do is have your staff have to answer if you are open on a holiday.
I believe it also gets rid of, there's another message there. I think it also gets rid of, I think it's the COVID message. Yeah, it also gets rid of that. But so it does go back to consumer experience, right? So think about this, is that, if Jason shows up, to your shop, because it says you're open, then all of a sudden you just might get a negative review, right? Because, hey, you just wasted my time. There's a couple of things I want to add here before we get to Eric, and that is that number one, updating the hours. Look, just throw it on your calendar. Throw it on for like December 29th and just do all of your hours. It'll take you about 15 minutes. Copy and paste. Boom, boom, boom. Done, done, done. Mark it off what you're closed, what you're open. Get it over with. If you don't do this, this is what can happen. And this is what happened on New Year's, is we ended up getting calls for suspensions and to do some reinstatements because Google Assistant Duplex was calling businesses that haven't set their New Year's hours. And so basically, I had two separate incidents of this actually in 2 days. And so you can't tell that it's a robot basically that's making this call to you because it's using Duplex. And so it's like, yeah, just wanted to check. Are you open? Are you open on New Year's Eve? Yes, I am. Thank you. Excellent. 4 hours later, boom, listing suspended.
Wow.
And again, I saw that in two separate instances. So there's probably a heck of a lot more than that.
So let me see if I'm reading between the lines here.
Sure.
Are you saying that if a business on Google, my business, that if a business does not update hours, that could actually potentially lead to risk of a listing suspension?
In the sense of, think about it this way, right? Core edits are always sensitive to Gmb, specifically in very in sensitive categories, duress categories. So if you as the business owner are not making these updates and you're letting Google make the update, Now that's an update that they're pushing.
Mm.
And as soon as you hit accept all, or if you just let it go, yes, it can lead to a suspension.
Got it. So I wanted to share just something real quickly. This is a little article that I did a while ago. I should probably update it a little bit, but I want to throw this out here. To me, there's 6 primary places that a business wants to look at to update hours if they're going to be unavailable during certain holidays or things like that. Number 1 is your website, right? You want to update your own website with that information. Number 2 is Google My Business, then Yelp, and then Apple, Bing, and Facebook. So I wanted to throw out that those to me are the 6 major places. Now there's others out there, but I think those 6 are going to cover 98% of the people who are going to be looking for your business and trying to find the hours. And so we have a little, setting the holiday hours article out here. Well, I think I may update this because I didn't include the website in this. I actually just thought about I needed to add this here. But I want you to throw out what Ben said. Google has the ability for you to set special hours. Take advantage of it. Like you said, you could do it at the beginning of the year and preset it up for the year as long as you know when you're going to be available, when you're going to be closed. Yelp also has special hours that you can update. Bing Places also has special hours similar to GMB. But I think, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I think that if you connect you can connect your Bing listing to your Google My Business listing, and if you make an update to your Google My Business listing through the API, it actually automatically updates your Bing listing. I got to verify that.
I'm not sure about that one.
I know it imports. It can import GMB listings into Bing Places.
Oh, geez, I hope they don't sync.
I hope they don't sync either. We'll see. I'll verify that. But anyway, you want to update it in those places. And then with Facebook and Apple, those are 2 other places out there that you may want to do. Neither of those have a special hours section yet. And so for there, you literally just got to go in and edit those hours the week before that the actual thing does, and then change it. Kind of a bummer, but that's just the way it works.
I got a curious question for you here, Eric.
Yeah.
Do they actually all say special hours? Like, is that their terminology?
In Yelp, it is. In Bing, it says, I want to provide working hours for special days.
Okay. All right. Okay. I was going to say, really? They all agree on the same terminology? That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because they don't want to call it a holiday because there's other times when businesses may not be available.
Sure.
Maybe it's a staff training day or something like that. And so I think all of them have come to the use of the terminology of special hours. And Andy just confirmed that there is no sync from Google My Business to Bing Places.
Sweet. Thank you, Andy.
So thanks, Andy. Appreciate that diving in here. All right, let's dive in and get off that one here. This is a great one. Ben, maybe we'll kick us off with you. And then Jason, I'd love to hear some of yours. What are the go-to Chrome extensions that you use when it comes to local marketing?
Wow. So I'm just going to go ahead and open up my toolbox. Hold on.
Feel free to share your screen if you want to.
I'm not going to share my screen. I'm just going to
if you tell me, and I'll bring them up.
I'm going to like freaking dump these into the chat. Oh, dang you! Hold on.
All right.
Switch back real quick so I can. Yeah, switch back so real quick so I can hit enter. Thank you. All right, there we go.
Make sure it's to all. Okay, good. All panels.
Yeah.
Last one didn't make it.
All right, now I'll talk.
Go for it.
If you want to share your screen. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I'll bring up the tools you're talking about here.
Yep. So let's go. We'll start from the top down, basically. So the first one is called Gmb Spy. Gmb Spy is a free tool put together by George Nenny. This is a really fantastic tool. It's kind of complementary also to another tool that I'm going to bring up. But what this does is this allows you to go to any Google My Business listing, click on a button, and find out what categories and subcategories you're using. So if something's ever driving you crazy and you're going, why is somebody outranking me? Go check out their categories. That's basically it. All right, Plepper. Plepper has lots of tools, is all I can say. However, The Chrome extension that they have does exactly what that last screenshot did. Go back to that if you can click back things. So what this does is this will go ahead, if you go into the into maps, basically and you do a search, it's going to go ahead and analyze all 20 listings that are in that search, and it's going to give you a percentage breakdown of what every category and subcategory that those listings are using. It's also going to break down other data about the Gmb listings. Like you can see, for instance, amenities, you can see the hours, you can see reviews and ratings. There's lots of data there basically for competitive analysis. You can use this inside of an audit if you're doing an audit, or you can just use it like how we use it is we use it from an optimization standpoint. So it's really handy to know. And everybody asks, well, what category should I use? Well, okay, well, let's go see what your top competitors are using. So there's that. So, and you, just so you know, you have to download the extension, then you've got to go to Plepper. You have to go grab their API key after you register. Then you can go ahead and actually use it.
Right. And so is this a paid service?
No, it's a free service.
It's a free service, but you still have to register for it and get the API links and then do this?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And they don't barrage you with a bunch of emails either, by the way.
Good.
So that's the other good. And yeah, and info shows all over the place. The next one, of course, is going to be our friend Mike Blumenthal's company and Aaron's company, Gather Up. And so Gather Up, we showed the case this before, but it gets the writer review link. So I mean, I have it as a tool. It's a great way to get the place ID. Like Jason said, he uses the place ID for multiple things. Mm-hmm. So this is just a nice quick way to get it. The next one is going to be GS Location Changer. So this is a nice way of basically teleporting yourself to a location. I recommend using zip codes. You can put in the longitude and latitude if you want to be really, really specific about it. You can even use city. So this is really good if you're doing any kind of spam fighting, or if a client says, well, I don't see myself ranking. Well, really? Okay, let me go take a look. All right. And all it's doing is it's changing the longitude and latitude and in a specific technical location inside of Chrome. You used to be able to do this, like, I think, what was it, like 4 years ago, manually.
Yeah, you could do it if you went into the whole Google search inspector here.
Yeah, that's the current technique. Exactly. So, which takes, around 4 or 5 minutes to really dig through and set up, and it's a pain in the butt. So this tool just makes it really easy. And then the next one that I think we just skipped one, and that was company information on Google.
Oh yeah, for some reason that didn't come up because of the way the URL was.
Yeah. You literally just go to the Chrome store. Oh yeah, that's right.
I have it to paste as well.
You want to share it, Jason?
Yeah. I got all mine that I was going to dump in.
That's okay.
The link looks like it should work in chat, but okay. Anyway, so basically, company information on Google is kind of like the Gather Up extension, except when you click it, it gives you all the details of that location, starting with the name of the business, the CID, down to its review stars, down to its primary category. Again, also very good when you're doing any kind of spam fighting, because it just makes harvesting locations, what used to be a copy and paste methodology. It used to take 5 minutes to put one row into a sheet. Now this takes literally 2 seconds. You click a button, copy CSV, boom, throw it on your sheet, move on to the next listing. Time to kill it.
Nice. JB, you got some?
Yeah. So Tom's tool, company information, is the one that I use the most. So that's when I tell people that I've just reported 330, 650, 1,000 fake listings. That's the one that I use. I also do some, technical SEO audits. So I like to use either SEO Minion.
I seem to find that one, JB.
It was the top one.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that link's not working for some reason. It's all right. We'll get it fixed.
Yeah. So then I also like to do like a lot of, SEO, audit type stuff. So I use Seo Minion, which is my next one.
Okay. For some reason, the links you put in there are not quite working.
Oh,
but no big deal. I'll bring them up.
Not.
Oh, you know what? I took off the codes. Never mind. I'll fix that and post it.
There you go. I also, Seo Minion.
Yep, Seo Minion. So I like doing this one because I can be on a website and I can just start looking at the metadata on it. So I can look at anything from H1s to broken links to alt image tags. It is great for any website you want to go to and start snooping on, see what your competitors are using. It's also great when you're talking with a client because that way you can just say, hey, I noticed on this page you're missing this, this, and this. What's my other go-to?
You got the detailed SEO extension.
Yep, detailed SEO extension. Exact same thing. So I like to use, so it depends which one I want to click on and look at the source code of a website. This is great if you're wanting to do some quick technical analysis of any page. It's super wonderful. Gmb Scanner, is another great one to use.
Gmb Scanner. I'm trying to find that particular one here.
Yeah, that's Zach Todd's tool.
I can find
Gmb Scanner. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one that lets you know if it's. Here, I think I figured it out.
That's okay. No worries. Just we'll put the links
anyway,
in when we post the archive.
Gmb Scanner. It lets you know if it's like a vacant or UPS store or residential address. So it can kind of handy quite a lot when you're trying to find out if a listing is legitimate or fraudulent. And then my next one is my personal favorite. It's Go Full Page. So you can actually, when you're looking at a business with all the reviews, I can just push that and it copies the entire page and it'll just slowly scroll all the way down. And so I can extract all of their reviews in one screenshot. But if they have like a lot, then it'll start break them up into different pages. So this is, if you want to get like a full page and not just the visual part of the page, use this tool and you can get your PDF.
Got it.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is Gmb Scanner can be hit and miss.
Yes.
It is a good tool. It's really good at showing you like a residential address. Virtual addresses like matches with a Regis, it'll show you that too. It'll give you the CID as well, by the way. But the possible invalid addresses, vacant addresses, things like that, it's grabbing it from a database. So that data might actually be old. So I wouldn't rely on it 100% for spam fighting.
No, and I've seen it tag commercial buildings as residential and residential as commercial. So, look, with everything, take it with a grain of salt. But I mean, if you do see a red, definitely, investigate a little bit more. It'll just take a couple more seconds.
Yeah.
There's one more.
So guys, we're geeking out on some Chrome extensions here. If you're not like an agency or an SEO specialist, for a general local business, a lot of this is going to be overkill for most folks, but there's some valuable tools that are here. We'll make sure we put the links to these though in the show notes when we release this early next week. Trisha shared a little interesting tidbit of information on our previous thing we talked about, Bing and Gmb. She says that she is syncing Google My Business details over to Bing, and she sent a screenshot in, thank you, to prove it.
So the question I would have is, does it sync,
we may have to bring Trisha on for this.
Does it sync Bing back to Google My Business?
I don't think it does. No, I think it's a one-way sync design, so you don't have to re-enter data into Bing.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's my understanding. But we'll maybe have Trisha join us one time and bring her on and it looks like she's been doing some interesting stuff on that.
Love to have Trisha on with us. Heck yeah.
I love Trisha. She's sweet. She's awesome. All right. Let's see here. We got time for a few more questions here. JB, here's one for you here. You guys may know this one here. The LGBTQ friendly attribute is not available for a business in the catering category. Is this normal or is this a glitch?
Normal. Not all attributes are available for each and every single business category. And it depends on if Google feels that it's needed or not. But it is definitely one of those things that you can definitely contact Google. Create I say create a thread in the Gmb forum because especially when we were looking for new categories to be created, it's one of those things that we can definitely escalate and ask Google, hey, is this is this the way it's supposed to be, or is this just an oversight? But you'll notice when you change categories, and right now, don't change categories in Gmb, but then. But when you go from one business category to another, you'll see a whole different set of options available in your Gmb listing. So they're going to give you so not every business are going to ask if they have a handicapped accessible elevator, right? Because it's not necessary for a plumber. So just think about it in that grand scheme of thing.
Got it. Yeah, apparently the thread's already been started in the Gmb community forum.
Two caveats. Before you started a thread in the Gmb forum, do reach out to support first, because you're going to need the case ID when you come to us. Okay, because it could be a glitch. I have seen a glitch out once or twice. So it's rare, but ask. The second thing is that if you are not in a sensitive category, play around with your subcategories. Because adding a subcategory will sometimes pop up new features and new attributes. For instance, once I saw a mall that had restaurant as a subcategory. Stupid of the mall. But anyway, they had a menu. So it works.
Makes sense. We have time for just a couple more questions. Paul asked a good question here. Are we still at the point where basic Gmb edits are triggering suspensions?
Yes.
It's still a yes and no, right? So if it's a sensitive category, the chance of getting a suspension from a core edit is pretty high. If it's a non-sensitive category, then the chances of suspension is a little bit lower. However, anytime you make an update to core information, you always run the risk of a suspension.
Yep. Especially
or need to be re-verified.
Yeah, that too.
This is a question from Debbie, and I appreciate this. I think it's worthwhile us reiterating this every now and then. She wants to know, what are Gmb ranking factors? And is it true that posting on Gmb is better for ranking than posting photos or doing other types of activities on Gmb? I would share one quick thing for you, Debbie, and then I'll let you guys just chime in on this one again, because I think this is a common, obviously, question. We had a great session at the beginning of the year with Darren Shaw and Chris Dreyer, two amazing guys out there who did local search ranking studies. I'd highly recommend go out, watch this session. It's still on our homepage, I think. If not, you can find it. Go out and watch this, because we went in depth, all five of us, about what really impacts Google My Business rank. And what was validated by the data that they found through their two very large scale studies. So I'll throw that out there, but I'm interested to get your guys' thoughts on her specific question. Is doing Gmb posts better for ranking than posting photos or other types of Gmb activity?
Okay. I'll take a swing at this first.
It's a big open-ended question, I know.
Not really. And first of all, yes, go watch that webinar. We fought like cats and dogs over all of this stuff. Just kidding, by the way, but go watch it anyway. So to answer the last part of the question first, should you do posts over photos or other types of activities? The thing is that these kinds of things, all of them take literally a minute, maybe each. right? So you should take advantage of all of the features that Google My Business has. Is any one of them going to really impact your ranking? The answer is going to be no, at least as far as the ones that you've asked about. The ones that do impact your ranking is going to be, unfortunately, your business name. Secondly, most importantly, is going to be your primary category. Third will be your subcategory. I kind of lump that in with the categories just in general. Then you're going to be looking at the URL that you are pointing to for your website. This is probably the least amount of signal. And then it's going to come down to reviews. So, and from there, it's basically the mythical engagement signals, which does kind of touch into what you're talking about, which is with posts and photos and other types of activities. Those do send out engagement signals, but we don't really have any visibility into that, and it's extremely difficult to test. JB, over to you.
Yes. Okay. So when it comes to Google My Business photos, there's 5 photos that I tell everybody to get for both interior and exterior, and that's with and without people in the photos. There's been studies that show that photos with staff smiling in their uniforms look a whole lot better than just an empty office. So I definitely say, make sure you do, 10 photos, 5 interior, 5 exteriors as best as possible. Make sure, it looks good. I've seen some people kind of go overboard and post photos of their restroom and add that to Gmb. If you're a lawyer, it has absolutely no bearing. Yeah, Eric, you laugh, but I can show you.
I've seen a porta potty.
No. I'm laughing because for years, the church that I went to, their primary photo that was showing up on Google My Business and on Yelp was a photo of a drinking fountain, but where the wall didn't work quite well enough, and you could see the first urinal in the men's bathroom. That was their primary photo on their Gmb listing. I'm just laughing because I've seen it.
And we covered that in our last episode, how to change that.
We did.
Yeah. Okay. So, and then the other thing is I've seen data, and this is now available in Gmb, so this can easily be looked at. But I've seen data where users' photos, your customers uploading photos, have actually had better metrics and better visibility than businesses uploading their own photos. And Google is more inclined to show that default photo from a user-generated photo. So I think at any chance you can ask customers to post photos on Gmb, that's always going to be a plus for you, because now you got people searching for your business, going to your business, clicking on your business, adding a photo, and it also asks them if they want to leave a review. So you're getting like a win-win there. Yeah, it's great to do Google posts, but it's not really going to move your needle. But I think anything you can do to engage, to get your customers to come to your listing and engage with it is always going to be ideal over stuff you can do.
Sounds good. Well, I hate to do this, but we are running out of time for today. I did want to very quick, though, tease next week. Next week, we've got Cindy Crum joining us. She's the CEO at Mobile Moxie, and we are very, very excited to have her join us. She, again, knows her stuff inside and out. If you don't know Cindy, jump on with us next week's session. So again, next Friday, tell others about this. It's going to be a really good session. So gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this week. Always a lot of fun. And I'm just really disappointed I don't get to call you, Pinky in the Brain or what was it? Pepto-Benzmo.
Pepto-Benzmo. It's always going to be Pepto-Benzmo from now on.
Hey, you know what? One of these days, one of these webinars, we got to start off with how Jason chose his Twitter handle. Come on.
We'll tackle that one next week because I'm interested in that. But in the meantime, hope all of you have a wonderful weekend. And gentlemen, thank you again.
Bye, everybody.